the kibbutzim had grown up and had children and grandchildren of their own. Now that the urgent task of building a nation had passed, the younger generations were becoming disillusioned with life on the kibbutz.
The kibbutzniks shared with other socialists the idea that people were a product of their socialization, and that if you brought people up in a system of complete justice, you could create a new man, that is, someone who was devoid of selfish individualism and who would really think and live for the welfare of the group as a whole. And it turns out to be exactly the opposite.
The kibbutz children grew up into intelligent, enterprising, hard-working, constructive individuals, but they did not grow up as socialists.
We lived a very austere life, the most one could, and this didn't appeal to the children. As long as they lived within the warm confines of the kibbutz, they didn't see what went on outside. The moment they saw there was something completely different, in the army and elsewhere, that's when the problem started with people leaving.
Moshe Abbas's daughter Noah was one of those who considered leaving.
I think the kibbutz is generally not natural. It goes completely against nature. It's the complete opposite of human nature. Because you work very hard and give everything you've got. You work at several jobs, and in return you get the same as someone who doesn't work.
To keep skilled workers, Genosar and other kibbutzim began paying salaries based not on need, but on market value. They even began to hire foreign labor for the lowest paying jobs.
They brought in advisors from the outside that said, well, I was looking after the kibbutz gardens is worth this and this per month. The teacher in the school is worth so much, and the childcare worker in the kindergarten is worth this much. And everyone got their own wage. That, to my mind, is the crucial change in the kibbutz. When the principle of from each according to his ability to each according to his needs was changed, and people got what they earned.
Today, Genosar has joined most of the rest of the world in embracing capitalism. And like 3/4 of the kibbutzim, it is working toward turning over ownership of housing to individual members. The kibbutzniks will become homeowners.
I think those who stayed thanks to the changes. If changes hadn't been made, I wouldn't be here either. And thanks to the changes, we saved every penny. As a school principal, and my husband who works at 2 jobs, we managed to get our own private car. 2 weeks ago, at the age of almost 43, I have a car. I have independence, and this change for me is excellent. It became worthwhile to work. In the past, we used to work because of values, and now there are new values. The supreme value, we are ordinary human beings after all, is money, and quality of living, and the promise to our children that they will get something.
All these changes have led many to wonder if the kibbutzim are on their way to becoming little more than suburbs with a socialist heritage.
There was no chance that we could continue this kind of lifestyle, which is found nowhere else in the world. Nowhere else where people of their own free will would live for years and years in such a communal and collective way. The country doesn't need us anymore. This thing, this way of life has reached its end. It has spent itself. As far as reason goes, the kibbutz must come to an end.
The kibbutzim were the one place or group of places on earth where real, pure socialism, just as it was imagined by all the great socialist visionaries, was actually put into practice, and put into practice democratically. And the ironic ending was that the same people, after a certain number of years, democratically voted to turn away from socialism and to put the kibbutz on some other basis. And I think that that constitutes the final proof that socialism, except coerced, as in China or Russia, but socialism as a voluntary way for societies to live is simply an impossibility, that people ultimately won't be satisfied living that way.
As you might imagine, I am not a socialist, although I applaud some of the reforms that socialists brought our way. But as I think about socialism, my thoughts keep returning to America. At the same time the socialist faith was beginning to take shape on the European continent, a group of former British colonists were also building a new society, but they had something different in mind. America's founders tailored our system to people as they are, not as they should be in some ideal world in the future. And that system has seen socialism's rise and now its decline. Democratic capitalism is not perfect, but it works as well as anything we've seen. For those who want to improve the world, it's something to keep in mind. Thank you for watching. For Think Tank, I'm Ben Wattenberg.